A game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first, right? Before you move.
Hey chess players, it's Galen from the Portland Chess Shop here to bring you another Chess Shoutcast, and today I'm bringing you the action with Hikaru Nakamura playing white as GM Capilano Bridge. He is one of the strongest players that plays on the Internet Chess Club. He's top 10 in the world, the best American chess player, as well as probably the best bullet player, and definitely along with Magnus Carlsen, considered one of the strongest blitz players in the world. And he has a really unusual strategy, blitz style, when he plays on the Internet Chess Club. His opponent is GM Yardbird, who is from Germany and 2506 rated, so one of the other strongest players here to give a good match against Nakamura. So just to get into the opening a little bit, we've seen Nakamura played an unusual opening, not something that you normally see, with c3 first, then d4, then knight f3, and knight a3, which was unusual because the bishop took the knight, and then the queen checked, and now the queen is in a really funny square in the corner. So I've talked to FIDE Master Evan Ju about this, and he says that Nakamura's style is sort of like to get in an unknown position so that he can think on his feet creatively against his opponent. But here you see Black, although Black can't castle with the king, he's been able to expand very quickly on the queen side. He's attacking the bishop, and now Nakamura is playing knight e5, creating a lot of dynamic tension because now there's a lot of threats on the board. Hikaru Nakamura's bishop is hanging, as well as the knight is attacking the other knight that's only defended by a pawn with which the bishop is also attacking. So the knight on c6 is attacked twice, defended once, threatening to create that deadly fork triangle thing between the king, the bishop, and the rook. Again, I wish I had a telestrator. I'm trying to get one so I could be like John Madden. But here we have pawn takes, and then Hikaru Nakamura immediately plays pawn takes back, and we can see that knight takes g3 could be possible at some moment because the h-pawn is pinned. We see an a6 move after which the bishop retreats, because if knight takes, then after pawn takes back, the knight it can be taken by the queen, but the rook can take the queen, I think is the idea. And then after the rook is taken, the king takes back, and you get two pieces for the exchange, as well as the hanging g3 pawn at the end of the sequence. So that's a pretty complicated tactic, and it's important to note that Nakamura basically saw it immediately. He'd already seen it even before his opponent played it, and that's why he was able to play so quickly. But here we see a check that forks the king and the rook, which is a lot of material. So now we have an unbalanced position in which there's five pawns and 3 pawns. There's all 8 pawns for white, right? Yeah, white has all 8 pawns, and black has 6 pawns and 2 pieces. So we know that 2 pieces is worth more than a rook, right? Because they can like attack more squares and work together. But Nakamura has all 8 pawns, so if you can get these pawns rolling, they could really become dangerous. So we see Nakamura expanding on the queen side, playing c4, b3, but now the b3 pawn is attacked by the a4, and he castles. So he's like, okay, I got to get my king out of here. I got to get that safe, connect the rooks. So now the b3 pawn falls, I believe. I think the Yardbird will take it. We'll notice that Nakamura has about 30 seconds more, which is important because Nakamura doesn't give that 30 seconds back. That's a lot of his style. Unlike the Yakovico, where Yakovico usually wins on position, Nakamura often wins on time. He just plays so quickly that nobody can keep up with him. So here we see Nakamura's up 45 seconds. Time is ticking. He's afraid, I think, after rook takes, then c takes d5, then forcing basically e takes d5, and the rooks start to invade with the doubled pawns, and it doesn't look like black can play for some sort of advantage. So he plays knight d2, sort of a tactic, trying to fork the rook on f1 and the pawn on b3. So Nakamura plays rook f2, and then rook c3 immediately. We see that Nakamura's up over a minute now, which I think will become significant, because even though it's an endgame, Nakamura is able to play, aggressively, create passed pawns, create threats, and make his opponent think. That's my understanding. Yardbird is in a deep think. He's afraid of rook b2 attacking the rook, pinning it, and so he needs to get that knight out of there. But the knight doesn't have too many squares. Maybe a square on a5 or a1, but as we know, as Nimzovich taught us, the knight on the rim is dim, and thus it has less squares on the rim. It has 4 squares on the side and 2 squares in the corner. So he plays c takes, push, sort of a tactical sequence. Both players have ceded pretty far. Knight c1. Now the knight can remaneuver to d3. H4 is played. H4 immediately played a very strong move, creating passed pawn and creating threats to take out g5. Knight takes d3, getting the knight to that outpost that I think G.A. Yardbird was thinking about. How could I get the knight, make the knight stronger? How could I make the knight good? Because as we were saying, the knight could become on the corner, which would become too passive. So here we see the knight go to d3, the rook come back to a1. The rook can swing across and swing to other parts of the board really quickly in an endgame. They're very powerful when there's open columns and open files. So we see the Nakamura's have 2 bidets now, 2 bidets. So that's huge. Absolutely. I mean, that's he's up a knight in some sense now. Even though the position is still equal, he has so much more time that he's going to be able to do it. Just the way that he pre-moves, like his ideas. He sees things just faster than his opponents, and it's hard to keep up with them. So the rook is attacked. Now I believe that the rook will move. The rook goes to the 7th rank. That's really dangerous because doubled rooks on the 7th. That's like what you want to do. The king could be threatened. Things could be just attacked, double attacked, very quickly pinned against. So I think that black has some troubles here trying to defend himself because rook d7 check, rook c7 check. So he takes, but now there's a passed pawn. Going to be a passed pawn on h4. Nakamura takes back. He's up 2.5 minutes. Attacks the g2 pawn, but it's not clear how he could threaten it, how he could take it. So now the knight on b4 is attacked by the rook on b7. The game is over, 1-0. So that's how Nakamura wins at chess, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. Thumbs up. Appreciate it for watching. I really like comments because I'm just starting this, and it's hilarious. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.